And so as the journey kept going, I felt the right connections kind of started coming through. And I singularly like, I'm just fixing the building up to have a cool warehouse. I mean, that was my only agenda here. But seeing the poverty and seeing just the challenges, one of the last churches I just redid their room was Open Door Church with Pastor Troy Brewer. And he's one of the first people that I called, and I'm like, hey man, I'm in Nocona here, and there's a lot of need, and it doesn't seem like our churches are very connected on impacting this need, and I don't really understand what's going on. And he's like, well, obviously God put you there, you need to go after it. And that was in December. It was cold, and he's like, look, it's cold, we got extra coats. They run a food bank called Open Door Food Bank, and have been doing it for 20 years. And he's like, it just sounds like you need to just, God will direct, just do something, And I was like, all right, well, cool. And I was like, well, I'll come pick the coats up. He's like, great. Picked the coats up. We ran a little thing in the paper saying, coat drive on this date, and just blown away with 150 people show up, and you're just taking this all in, like, what in the world is going on here? Like, there's just people coming from everywhere. And luckily this is a big property, 106,000 square feet, it has 6.5 acres. We have plenty of parking, and you're like, wow, that's pretty crazy. And to it, you back out of it and you see this all going on, and I started just looking around and seeing who was coming. And I still will never forget, a couple showed up with 3 or 4 kids, and the kids are like not wearing shoes, not wearing socks, no shirt on. It's like 32 degrees, and the parents are fully dressed. And I'm observing this, like, is this just the kids jumping out of the car? Like, what's going on here? And you start seeing, the impact of meth over a long period of time, and how people, they're just not thinking clearly, and they're doing what they need, but these kids are suffering. And for me, that was like really the moment that I'm like, okay, Northside Fort Worth, nothing like this is going on. This is different. And so I need to do something. And so from immediately behind it, I called Troy. I'm like, all right, well, obviously something needs to happen here. He's like, well, cool, come pick up some food, man, see how that goes. And I'm like, all right, I can do that. And he was kind of, sucking me into it, I think, a little bit, on just giving me baby steps. And so we started doing food, and that just really blew up. And I mean, we do our food bank every other week. We consistently, we'll have 1,000 people come through. It's amazing. We do it at 8 o'clock every other Saturday. And to see that impact grow, and to see who we're helping, we're not judging people, don't have any opinions about who should or shouldn't come through this food bank. I've seen the volunteer pool go from, there was one Saturday here I'll never forget. I was the only one that showed up, and I had about 400 people lined up, and I'm thinking, this is kind of a problem. And just talking about commitment, I'm coming up on 4 years of doing the food bank, and I've missed one food bank. It's about being committed to what you're doing, not just showing up, getting the glory, look at what I did. It's about that kind of behind the scenes commitment. And in that, luckily, I'm all about efficiencies, and I've just really been studying this food bank thing, studying Troy's food bank, from helping my grandpa. I was like, how do I make this efficient? And I have one of the most efficient food banks out there. And in that day, I was able to run 400 people through the food bank by myself, which is pretty impressive. And so that was a turning point for me on going, I can do this. I don't necessarily need a lot of help, to going, okay, hang on, I need help. I need people around. I need the community to get involved. And I really changed. So now we have amazing volunteers that come out. We have anywhere from 50 to 100 volunteers that'll show up. And it's such a different culture of everyone working together. We're quick, we're efficient. We usually are done within an hour and a half. We impact all these people. And then furthermore, the volunteers I have now are all committed to different things in our community. Some people, like the women's shelter in Bowie, that's their thing. We get a bunch of clothes in from Walmart. which Walmart's been unbelievable to us, an amazing donor, and helping so many people behind the scenes, just quietly, just keep making sure that the resources are going out. And to see that person who's passionate about the women's shelter taking brand new clothes to the women's shelter, and then you have someone else who's passionate about the nursing home, you have someone else who's passionate about all these different things that they're already involved in, and the resources come into this building. It's a resource center, and then those resources go out on top of the food bank. And that journey has really shifted my mentality from early on in each segment of my life. I can redo this house by myself. Oh, wait a second, I could redo 10 houses if I was running crews. Oh, let's do that. To church AV, I can do this. I've got this. To running teams of people, to the food bank, and I don't need help, to, okay, wait a second, there's 1,000 people out there, I need some help here. So we're at a point now with the food bank where I've really seen how teams of people, all with the same cause, how we can pretty much accomplish anything. So we have people at this point that come from Wichita Falls, and they pick food up and they take it back there, and one group does a homeless outreach, another group does a food bank. And I'm seeing that happen where some groups will take food to Bowie, some groups will take food to Gainesville. And so as it's spreading out, and I have a very strong group of people that all believe in what we're doing, it's been really cool to see. Part of that is because we don't judge anyone. We don't have any expectation. And sometimes people come into the food bank, they're like, I just can't wrap my mind around how much food. Y'all just unloaded 70, 80 pallets of food. I can't understand why you would give out so much. I mean, that person, they took all the, rolls. They took 2 boxes of rolls. And it's like, when you judge that person, and I've been slapped on the hands a few times of going, hang on, you don't need that second box. And someone's like, well, my neighbor is a shut-in. And you go, knife to the heart, like, okay, please take 3 boxes of rolls, because the moment you judge someone, then you're in judgment. And I've seen that over and over and over on this food bank, that if you'll take your hands off and go, this is a kingdom assignment, the food will go where it's needed. And interesting enough, most of the journey, I never know what's going to come on our truckload on Friday, which is about half of our resources. And there's been times you're like not even sure if you're going to get a load on Friday. And every time going into that, Saturday morning, early 5 a.m., you open that door and you don't know what's on that truck. And nobody's seen it. It was put on at a distribution dock. Don't even know what's in there. And the crazy thing is how the right resources show up. That the right amount of food for the right amount of people that are camped out in your building the night before, that you don't camp out for food unless you need it. And when you see, that hunger and that need, and that the fact that we don't judge people, the interesting thing is you see how it transitions from all the food we give out is going in the dumpster. America wastes 40% of our food gets thrown away. And when people go, well, why would you give out in such abundance? Because if this can bless someone, and if someone can use it, why would we not do that? And then to see people, once they're confident that you're there for you, Hope 2011 is based on Jeremiah 2011, giving people a future and hope. The moment the light comes on that there's hope and somebody cares, that's all people need to then get inspired in their life, to get motivated again, go get a job, help someone else. And through our food bank, what I see, one of the reasons I have so many volunteers is I have to really turn down volunteers because there's so many, and everyone just, well, how can I help? How can I get involved? And that's amazing, because the moment they catch that, then they're leaving with food, and they're going and dropping it off their neighbor's house, and they're connecting, and they're being everything that a community should be.